Welcome to this video on value engineering and functional concept work. This is a subject that I see as crucial for effective concept development and problem solving in R&D. I have seen firsthand how we can transform entire R&D departments into becoming truly customer driven. Customer needs and resource concerns in the customer's domain is fuzzy, non-technical information. Product information in your company domain, on the other hand, is concrete technical information. There is a need to translate the fuzzy information into concrete information going to development and vice versa going to market. Translation errors are common, resulting in the development of perfect products, but the wrong products, products that don't meet customer expectations. Translation errors is the most common reason why concept development in R&D fails. The functional domain and its abstract language is the best way to bridge the gap. To establish this stepping stone between offers many advantages. It will establish a language and platform that simplifies the exchange of information between marketing people and development engineers. It's the only way to make customers' value measurable, and customer value is the most important metric for all organizations to grasp. Solutions come and go, but the functions are surprisingly stable over time and therefore suitable for specifications, benchmarking, and strategic plans. Get access to a very powerful toolbox for concept development and problem solving. A toolbox that will make you sharper, faster, and more successful. The functional toolbox is also your entry point to tools like FMEA, robust design, and TRIZ. Work in the functional domain is a two-step process. The first step is to figure out what functions the product must perform to satisfy customer needs. Customers pay to have functions carried out, not to own products. The customer buys drills, for example, because they want holes, not drills. The second step is to figure out how the functions should be created by the product and the cost for the subsystems and components you design in. However, we don't recommend that you start from a white paper doing these two steps. Instead, start the functional journey from the best products available on the market today. Establish a benchmark you must beat to reach unrivaled customer value. This method will reveal the benchmark's strengths and weaknesses. The work in concept development and problem solving will focus on beating this benchmark, giving you the best product on the market with unrivaled customer value. To get sharp in the functional domain, functions must be formulated using a minimalistic syntax. Fuzzy language is okay in the customer domain, but now we are taking the first step away from the fuzzy language on our journey to the concrete technical language. Functions have three parts: who, does, what. The who is the functional provider and always a none. The does is the action and always an active verb. The what is the function receiver and always a none. Here are some examples. A membrane reduces pressure peaks. A water bottle quenches thirst. A logotype conveys status. Functions are holistic concept to describe what the product does for a customer. All products have hard technical functions as well as intangible soft functions. All products have positive functions that increase value and negative ones that decrease value. Functions are divided into 4 groups according to the impact on customer value. First, we have the main functions, which are functions the product must perform from a customer perspective. These are usually only a few for most products. The main functions are the main reason why the customer buys the product. If the product can't perform these functions at a satisfactory level, the customer will not buy, regardless of the price. Secondly, we have additional functions that contribute to customer value if the benefits are valued more highly than the cost of supplying them. Thirdly, we have unwanted functions that reduce the value because they irritate the user, create disadvantages for the user, or are harmful to the user or the environment. And finally, the last group is support functions that don't affect customer value in any direction. Support functions are many, complicated, and costly. But the customer is not willing to pay for them as they, from a customer's perspective, doesn't bring any value to the table. The objective with concept development and problem solving is to increase customer value. If you identified and classified all the functions performed by your benchmark, strategies for how to increase value can now be formulated. In principle, you only have 4 different options. Firstly, increase the performance of the main function, if the customer is willing to pay for it. Not only pay for the increase in performance, but it should also cost you substantially less to provide this increase. It's a commercial decision and not a technical one. Secondly, introduce new additional functions or increase the performance of the existing ones. Same commercial restrictions as before. Thirdly, reduce or eliminate unwanted functions with the same commercial restriction. And finally, eliminate the need to perform support functions and thereby reduce the cost and complexity of the product. It will indirectly increase customer value. You have these 4 different ways to increase customer value in your product. There are no other alternatives, and you have to figure out the right mix as your strategy. There are typical pitfalls you can avoid when selecting a strategy. Your position on the S-curve is the key. If you are early on the S-curve, in the infancy phase, the focus should be on main functions. After all, that's why the customer buys your product. After this step, you're ready to travel the journey to higher customer value by increasing the usability of the product, by introducing additional functions or increasing the additional functions' performance. All those small extras that make the product more attractive for the customer. After that, focus must be redirected to the unwanted functions and trying to reduce them or eliminate them. Finally, all your options to increase customer value are exhausted. The product has reached its final destination and will be replaced by a new concept. Change is now inevitable. Change or die. Don't become a new Nokia or Kodak. While you change to the new concept, extend the life of the old concept by eliminating the need for support functions and thereby reducing cost and complexity. Forming strategies is fine, but in concept development and problem solving for R&D, these strategies must be realized. How to redesign the black box to increase performance on certain functions or eliminate other functions. We need to open up the black box and see what's going on inside. Use the functional language to get a grip on how different subsystems contribute or destroy customer value in the benchmark. The dotted line is the system border for our benchmark. Let's start with the main function and try to figure out which subsystem in your benchmark is the most important for carrying out the main function? We could rephrase this question. If you only were allowed to keep one subsystem, which one should you keep? We will argue that it's the wheels. Without the wheels, you have no use of the rest. And the wheels could easily be modified to give at least some performance. The mono wheels are proof of that. Let's look at the additional function. Which subsystem is most important for illuminating the road for safety? This question is less controversial to answer. All the lighting, of course. A lot of negative and unwanted functionality is associated with petrol. These are the subsystems involved. Using the same logic, the whole model can be completed. A functional model is the key to effective concept development and problem solving in R&D. A functional model creates a common understanding of your product and how it works. We have done this so many times with different teams in the industry, so we know that such a platform doesn't exist. It sounds incredible, unbelievable and stupid. Of course, experienced teams of engineers have a common understanding of how their product works. Try it out and you're up for a surprise. It will give you an understanding of where value is created and lost in your product. We call this the aha moment. A new way, which sometimes comes as a bit of a shock. Ranking the subsystems from best to worst, probably something that has never been done before. It will put the spotlight on poor subsystems that need to be improved. If not, the objective is to design them out of the product. A fantastic start for concept development and problem solving in R&D. Last but not least, you have created the entry point to many powerful tools used in R&D. The functional domain is an excellent way to bridge the gap between marketing people and engineers in R&D. It's in between the fuzzy language used in the customer's world and the concrete and technical language used in the company's world. Formulating classifying functions is the first step to get a grip of and establish measurability of customer value. Customer value is the most important metric for all organizations, and this is the way to turn it into a concrete and practical tool. The functional model is a good way to create a common understanding and platform for concept development and problem solving in R&D. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this video.